Hi guys, welcome back. I know it's been forever, so I thought I'd kind of give you guys a little story time today on what happened, whether I got the car, and basically all the challenges I went through during that time where I was not filming. Now, before we get into it, I just wanted to mention that I do have a video coming out right after this, so stay tuned. That video will be like my first experience with the car. I wouldn't consider it a mod, so I'm calling it an experience. It's gonna be different, so I would watch it. And after that, we have my first mod video coming out as well. So I guess that basically lets you guys know that I did get the car. So I'm super happy about that. And today I have my man Kenny here filming for me.
I'm actually babysitting her behind the camera right now because she doesn't know what she's doing.
Pretty much. And he knows what he's doing, so that's why he's here. Then I wrote some notes because this is going to be long and I'm going to forget. So if you guys haven't already, I would grab a chair, grab a blanket, and make yourself comfortable because this might take a while. So let's get into it. So basically, I'm going to start at the way beginning, guys, and that was when I decided I was going to sell my two cars. So I had a Chrysler convertible and a 530i BMW. At one point I was gonna try to turn into a track car and like make do with what I had, but I decided let's sell both of those and just get one decent car. So when I was selling those cars, I had no intent to buy a car like right away, but literally the day I sold the Beamer and the moment the guy was coming to get it, I was on Kijiji looking at what cars were out there, and that's when I saw Jenny's. And like they kind of caught my interest, and I was looking at actually a lot of 2-liter turbos, which needed a lot of work. Like I'll be honest, a lot of them I looked at had a lot of body work that would have needed to be done, a lot of rusting crap, paint jobs. My dad was just like, no, it's not worth it, Cass. And I was like, but we can totally fix this. And that's when he decided to tell me that his buddy who owns a body shop, in which he worked at for like a while, we're gonna call him Mark for confidentiality reasons. He told me that Mark had one sitting there for over a year and he had never told me about it because he thought it was like too good for me. And it was a 2016 3.8 liter r-spec Jenny with only 45,000 kilometers on it. It had unfortunately been smashed, but there wasn't a lot of damage to it. So it literally wasn't going to take a lot of work to get this thing on the road. Like we had seen a lot worse. So once I seen it, I was like, I want that car. That's going to be my new baby. So I went to my bank and I asked for a loan. This is when the whole process of like challenge after challenge started. It literally took them 3 months to get back to me with the loan being complete. So for 3 months, I fought to kind of get the paperwork done and get the loan. And when I got the call about the loan being approved, it was like half the amount I'd asked for. It was on a 1.5-year term, and I was going to be paying like over 12% interest. So, like, let's just say it was going to be stupid payments like every month. So I was like, I'm not doing that. There's no need for that. I'm going to try another bank. So I went to another bank, and they were literally like godsends. They had it done in 2 days. I had the loan approved, and I was approved for the amount I had asked for on a 6-year term with a rate of 6.99%. So they're going to make it an auto loan, which was great. So once that was all complete, they're like, go to the ministry and get a buyer's package. So I did that. When I got to the ministry, I found out Kenny's licking sausages right now. Yeah. When I got to the bank, I found out that, when I got the buyer's package, this is why I have notes. When I got the buyer's package, I found out there's a lien on the car. And Mark had told me that there was going to be no lien on it. It had all been taken care of. So I get this package, I find out there's a lien, I get back in my car, and that's when I start crying. I'm like, shit, I can't get this thing because I can't get a loan with a lien, and we can't clear this lien. So long story short, Mark deals with the insurance companies and finds out that it had been apparently cleared at that time. That's what I learned. And that the insurance company just didn't want to pay like the $20 waiving fee. So they would usually just wait until they needed to do it, until somebody wanted to buy it. And with COVID happening, we were not able to really communicate with those people. They weren't in office as long as we were hoping they would be, and it just was taking forever to clear that lien. So now, like, let's just skip that part. So the bank says, okay, we're going to put the paperwork through without the lien because you're telling us that it's been cleared. We're basically just going to do that, and at that point, that lien should be cleared. I am not making any sense. I need to take a pause because I'm saying the word lien way too often.
A few moments later.
So the bank says send the paperwork through anyways. At that point, the lien should be cleared, and we should be good to go. So I'm like, all right, yes, we're back on track. I'm getting this car. So,
it's taken more than 100 years. Look, here's the lives. When you think about it.
Then they sent the paperwork through, and the lady who was doing the loan had only done, like, I think I was actually her first auto loan, so she had never done it before. She didn't know what she was doing, and she was constantly asking questions. She had somehow missed that it had a salvage title, and I was kind of like, yes, hopefully I get it cleared before they even notice. Well, obviously that wasn't going to happen, Cass. So it goes to another guy who's worked there for a while, and he finds that it has the title of being salvage. So he calls me up, and he's like, we can't give you a loan for a car with a salvage title. Like, it means it's worth nothing to us. Even though the car was very valuable, it means nothing to them. So I go on to explain that I understood that, and that we're clearing the salvage title. Obviously, that I'm working with my dad who owned a body shop, any other guy. I'm like, this is what we do. We're going to clear it and it'll be fine. And after that, he understood, like, oh, okay, you know what you're getting yourself into. I just wanted to make sure. But you have two options here. Either one, you clear that salvage title and you can get the car. We can like try to give you the loan anyways. Or two, we give you a loan for another car. And at that point, I'm like, I don't want another car. I'm not going to find another car that's for that price in that condition. Like, this car was almost mint, and I really didn't think it belonged. I don't know what I'm saying. And at that point, I'm like, I don't want another car. I don't think I'm going to find another car in this condition for that price. Like, this is a freaking steal. So he's like, okay, try to clear the salvage title and we can see if we can give you the loan, but I can't guarantee anything. So at this point, there's another obstacle. I'm literally trying to get a car I do not own to my house to fix, to clear a title on a car, yet again, I do not own yet. And then I might get the loan to pay it off. So now I'm at a point where I'm like, if I clear this title and I don't get that loan, what do I do? Or if I can't clear this title, am I giving this car back to Mark and I'm going to get somewhat of a profit off the work that we've done? It was getting very confusing. So I bring the car home, we start working on it. So this is where you saw the videos of the bumper, the grill, like I'm doing all this work. And again, I don't know whether I'm getting this car. So that was very stressful. But I go ahead and I take a leap of faith because I told myself I was getting this car no matter what. And I buy an $1,800 hood, carbon fiber, obviously. And that hood was coming from the States. So I knew due to COVID, I live in Canada. I knew I was going to have trouble getting it over here like on time, and I knew I was going to be waiting a while. So I was quite patient. After about 2 months, I called them and I'm like, hey, what's going on with this hood? I need it to go for structural, and I kind of want to drive this car before the end of summer. At this point, it's like July. And I started this whole loan application process in January. So like, it's been a while. So they tell me that they don't make the hood unless there's 10 orders of them back at Simon, or however you want to say that. And so I'm like, hey, cancel it because I'm not waiting for God knows how long. I'll just buy this hood over the winter and throw it on next summer. So I cancel the hood, and now I'm like, I still need a hood to go for structural. So I go to basically what was like, I guess you'd consider it a scrapyard, and I find a hood almost in mint condition. And we basically fix up the little dents that were in it and paint it black because that was just a better option for us than trying to fix the hood that I had. As you saw, it was pretty smashed, and I didn't want a hood that was half Bondo or like half cheese on a brand new car. So we painted that flat black. And then so I finally sent it for structural. Everything seems to be going great. It's looking good. I sent it for structural, and I find out that the lien had still not been cleared with that insurance company. So now I still have the issue of the lien. And I'm like, so even if it passes this structural, I'm not going to get a loan because I can't get a loan with a lien on it. So I call for a personal loan instead. I'm like, if we take out the auto part and I do a personal loan, I was like, I just want like $1,000 at this point. I already have the rest cash because I've been working for over 6 months. And they tell me that they can't do a loan for less than $5,000. And she said, you'd have to go through the whole loan application process again. You'd have to redo all the paperwork and blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, hey, it's not worth it. Never mind. I'll figure it out. Like, I'm good. So now I'm just saying no loan. So I fought for a loan for months and I decided not to use a loan. I paid it all cash. So we decided we're going to send it for safety because it's finally mine now, basically. And by the time I could send it for safety, it was a holiday weekend. So it was literally like the Thursday and the Friday, all the mechanics were going to have off. And I was like, I really want this car by the weekend. I've been waiting months. It's now going to be the beginning of August. That weekend, it was like August 1st weekend. And I just really wanted the car on the road, drive, practice, stick. So it goes for safety, and I get a call a few hours later that I needed tires. I needed brand new tires. So I was like, shit, like we were not expecting that. We did everything else, but the tires seemed fine. Turns out there was like cracks in between the lines where like you wouldn't tell unless you had it up on a hoist. So I literally called over 18 tire places trying to get the tires that day, and nobody could either get them for me that day or they just couldn't get that size at all. So I had finally found some at a decent price from this guy who just sells them from his home. And so I go to the shop and I'm waiting for this guy to show up, and it's now like 3:30 and the ministry closes at 4:30. Long story short, I end up driving 15 minutes to get these tires, having to drive 15 minutes back to the shop. I throw the tires out, like literally throw them out of my car. He writes me to safety, and then I run to the ministry with a minute to spare, like before they closed. Luckily, the guy knew my family, and he like took the car in, and I got the car on the road that night, drove back to the shop that had closed to pick up my car afterwards. So it was like literally just like such a hassle and so busy, but I got it done, and now the car's mine. So yeah, I got my car on the road that night, finally, and like even days later, it felt like it wasn't true because every time I had gotten good news for the past, I think it was like at that point, seven months. Every time I got good news, I would like automatically be hit with bad news again, like how I wasn't gonna get the car. So I kept thinking this was gonna get taken away from me, and I kept having to like look at the ownership and be like, no, it's yours, it's in your name, you got this, like this is your car. So like driving it for the first few days just felt so wrong. It felt weird. It felt like I was doing it illegally, but oh, I'm so happy she's mine now. So yeah, that's the story. I was waiting to kind of put that out there because I wanted to do a sick reveal shoot. I had some really good ideas for that, just like to show you the difference of it being smashed to now. And I was gonna have Kenny help me with that, but he had to go for surgery on his arm, so he couldn't really do that. So we decided to just skip that. I'll do a nice video come next spring once I have a few mods done. And just kind of wanted to put something out there for now. So now, like I said, we have that experiment video coming out next, and that one will be pretty interesting. I think people will like it. And then we have like my first mod, so kind of like the first thing I wanted to do to Jenny to kind of make her not look stock anymore. Like I'm so tired of looking at her and it being stock. Like don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful car, but like I really wanted to do this. So anyway, I'm happy about that. Basically this whole thing was just to kind of tell you guys that no matter what happens, you can get what you want in the end. Like literally after so many obstacles, there were moments where like, don't get me wrong, I was crying. I'm like, hey, I'm not doing this. I can't do this anymore. It's not going to work. Or moments where you're just like, it's not possible. I don't have the funds right now or something. And like, you can figure it out, guys. You can make it work. Like there's always a solution. And I've always like told myself that I'm the only one that will decide whether or not I can get something. When you give up, that's the only reason you're not going to get it. Otherwise, you come up with alternatives. And like literally, no matter what in life, you can think of something, you can like fix it, and you can get what you want. So that's what I did, and I'm super happy that I never gave up on that. And yeah. Anyway, stay tuned, guys. Watch the next video. It'll be pretty interesting. And so if you haven't already, like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.
Hmm?
Wait, I can't even ever tell if you're recording because you always look at the screen as if it's recording. Are you recording right now? And you always look at me as if you're actually recording.
It's not going right now. What are you talking about? I
I
thought you
feel
were
like
done.
it is. Okay, I am done.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
What else do you have to say?
I gave my motivational speech. I talked about the next
You
video.
tell them about your first race when you lost?
Well, it was not my first race.
When
My
you lost
first
against the
race was against
Prius?
my dad. Yeah, I raced the Prius when I lost. Totally kidding. It was a smart car. I definitely lost to a smart car. A little lawnmower engine.
It's got a V8.